And let's get ready to RPG!
RPG! RPG! RPG! RPG! RPG!
Hello, hello, hello. Greetings and welcome. Hello, everybody. Welcome to game night. That's right. We're back. Yeah, it's technically JRPG. I was gonna actually say that. That's you're ahead of schedule. Yeah. So welcome everybody. I haven't done this in a long time, but we were talking about it today or something, and someone was like, "Oh, you should stream," and I was like, "I stream too much," and by that I mean number one, I do stream too much, and I stream too much. Not for necessarily for me. I love doing it. In fact, I said the reason I don't do this game night thing that often is simply because I sit down and I'm like, okay, I got my camera going, I got my lights on, I've got my microphone set up, and then I could talk about TTRPGs or I could play video games. And I'm like, no, I want to talk about TTRPGs. But technically, I'm kind of doing both because I'm playing TTRPG. Anyways, welcome everybody. Plus, the other reason is, I stream a lot, and sometimes people are like, damn, Derek, you stream a lot. You streamed 24 hours last, week. I didn't even catch up from the week before that. Watching it times 2 speed. So, come on. So, give me a break here. I did reposition some of my, because, again, one of the reasons that I upgraded my microphone. Well, I got a new microphone. I still have my old microphone. This is my big dynamic podcast mic. But, for like when I'm doing video games and I've got a controller and I don't want something like right up in my face, this is where I have my overhead boom mic. And, I don't know that I've completely dialed that in yet. So, if it needs a little bit more, kick in the phones, let me know, and we'll try to adjust as best we can. All right. I think I have Steam open. I don't know exactly how this works, but I think this is how you do it. Oh, there we go. Oh, you know what? That's going to bother me. That's like just the tip of my microphone. All right. There we go. All right, there we go. No, I did not get any new lights. No, I did not. Let's see here. Do we want... Nope, I did not want sound. I'm just trying to get the sound dialed in. Okay. That's right. Final Fantasy, the stone. How does this work? Hello, computer. Computer. Hello, computer. Okay. Let me know when when you start to hear the music a little bit. I don't want it to be like super loud. I just want it to be, somewhat present in the background. I don't know. I don't remember. Does anyone remember how this thing works? What are these controllers things? Yes, this is at 35. Okay. All right, let's see here. Bluetooth? Is this how this works? No, it says it's connected. What's going on? Confirm. Okay, well, for some odd reason, my controller isn't working. Anyone know how these things turn off? Maybe I have to push this button? Computer! I guess I'll just unplug the... I literally don't know anything how to do this. I'm literally having to unplug, like, pull the batteries out of controller because I just literally don't know how game controllers work anymore. Steam has to recognize my controller? Isn't it enough that Windows recognizes my controller? Hey, there we go. Okay. It was Steam, by the way. I saw a little pop-up come up and it was like, Steam's like, oh, you have a controller. All right, so let's catch us up with what is going on. All right, so the purpose of Final Fantasy is that you need to restore the light to the 4 crystals. The 4 crystals have been cast into darkness by the forces of the 4 terrible elemental fiends. Now, no one's sure where these elemental fiends came from. All we know is that several hundred years ago, the fiends of air and water appeared and laid waste to the great civilizations of the north. Several hundred years after that, the fiends of fire and earth appeared and destroyed the lands to the south. Now, we are the Light Warriors, the chosen, destined companions who will put right the world's wrongs. And that is Smith, Bob, Amblade, and Hoyrit. Now, Smith, he is a fighter. And this, my friends, is the very quintessential fighter's gonna fight. Of course, in this modern remastered or pixel remastered version, the fighter class is known as the Warrior, but in the original NES version, it was just called the Fighter. And arguably, it is the strongest, best class in the entire game. They get all the best armor, they get all the best weapons, they attack a bunch, they get a ton of hit points, great defense, a lot of attacks that hit them literally will just do a single hit point of damage. They're incredible. Next up is Monk, Bob. Now, in the original game, this was known as the Black Belt, but now it's called the Monk. This is Bob. Monks do not wear armor, so they get an innate natural toughness or defense, but what makes monks really powerful is that when unequipped, when they don't have a weapon equipped, their number of attacks is doubled. So monks are kind of a glass cannon. They get a little bit more, normally they get a little bit more hit points to make up for that, but Bob has rolled terribly on his random hit points rolls. Right, this is Final Fantasy 1, by the way, so you know, even back then, video games, you roll your hit points randomly. And you can tell that our monk has rolled terribly on their hit points because our white mage, Amblade, has way more hit points than our monk. Now, Amblade is a white mage, so this game doesn't have clerics, but a white mage is basically kind of takes that role, except without any of like the, you know, heavy armor and mace and deity stuff. No, instead the white mage is a caster who specializes in curative, protective magic, restorative magic. And then last but not least, we have our black mage, Hoyrit. Black mages, you know what they do, right? Fire, ice, lightning, death. Now this is a spell slot system game, so you can see that our characters, our spellcasters in particular, have a number of spell slots. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th level. You'll also notice that our characters have spell slots all the way up to 8th level magic. We don't even have 8th level magic yet because we haven't found it in the game yet, and because our white mages and our black mages are incapable of learning such powerful magics. Our classes, we'll have to level up our class. Think of it like a prestige class from Final Fantasy, or from 3rd edition. The white mage needs to become the white wizard. Coming back to you now at the turn of the tide. So the last time we played, we journeyed into the depths of the earth, and we fought Lich, the Fiend of Earth, and we restored the Earth Crystal. Upon doing that, we headed to Crescent Town. Yay, Crescent Town! And Crescent Town is, There we go. So we're over here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. And Crescent Town is right outside a gigantic volcano. And that is where the Fiend of Fire is. Kari, or at least she used to be called Kari. And I think now she's called Marilith. Probably because it was, some political stuff. But we have an interesting choice because this game isn't entirely strictly linear. Because when you come to this town, you are given the canoe. And the canoe allows us to walk around or drive around on lakes and rivers. And because we have a canoe, we can now go to either the volcano and fight the Fire Fiend, or we can go to the Ice Cave. Now, we don't really necessarily know this yet, but you talk to all the people in the game and they kind of get the sense. The Ice Cave holds a great sacred treasure that will unlock the airship. Ooh. But the other thing is, if you go to the Ice Cave first, you get ice weapons, which are really good against the Fire Cave. But if you go to the Fire Cave first, you get a bunch of fire weapons, which are really good against, you guessed it, the Ice Cave. So there's really kind of no right way to do it. On the other hand, I'm going off on a complete tangent here. Once you get the airship, you can kind of go anywhere in the world. And one of the things that you can do if you go anywhere in the world... How do I do this? What's the button I pushed here? Okay, one of the things that you can do once you can go anywhere in the world is you can go to these islands that are kind of floating up here in the middle of the top middle of the map. And there you can beseech Bahamut, or whatever, the Dragon King. And Bahamut will give you a quest, which will allow your characters to go to their advanced class, right? Our warrior will become a knight. Our monk will become a master. Our white wizard and our white mage and black mage will become white wizards and black wizards. So we can actually become the advanced class and then return and go and do the volcano. So we do get sort of, there's a little bit of non-linearness here that we can kind of mess around with. So, yeah, I mean, I only think we have about 10 or 20 people here. I have defeated one of the 4 fiends. So you could argue I'm 25% of the way through the game, roughly. But, yeah, give or take. Not exactly, but close. Cynical Dragon says, I'm not very familiar with Final Fantasy 1, but I'm assuming level 8 magics have to be holy and meteor based on the games I have played. No, not holy, but there is a spell called Nuke. I don't know what it'll be called in Pixel Remaster, but Nuke is basically meteor, but it's a single target spell only. So really, we have to make a decision here. Do we want to go to the Fire Cave first, or do we want to go to the Ice Cave first? So that is the question that we have to make, which is fire or ice. So where do we go? Fire or ice? Resetting poll, and the poll is up. So where are we going, folks? Fire or ice? It has been a minute since I've played this part of the game, though, so I barely remember where we're going. See, look at our cool little canoe. Oh, we got we got ice. Ice coming in. Let's see. Okay, so flare. Okay, that's what it's called. So this is actually a lot of fun for me. Okay, looks like ice is off to a winner. Okay, so in Final Fantasy 1, which this is the Pixel Remaster, but they kept a lot of the they kept a lot of the cool part, because there have been many remakes of Final Fantasy 1, but one of the first remakes that they made got rid of the spell slot system and used MP systems, and I just think the game loses something when you get rid of the spell slots. But one thing that they did update, which I'm very happy about, is in the original game, or in Final Fantasy 1, you get a bunch of really cool swords and weapons that are themed to be good against certain types of monsters or certain types of... For example, the Ice Sword, the Flame Sword, the Worm Slayer Sword. So you can see that my character of Smith, the warrior, is currently equipped with a Mithril Sword. Now you can see that that gives him 35 attack power and 46% accuracy. Now, attack power basically means how much damage he's going to do, and accuracy basically means how many. It's not whether he's going to miss or hit. I'm always going to hit. What it determines is how many of my attacks are going to hit. But you'll also see that in my inventory, kind of hidden by the pole, I have a coral sword and I have the worm killer. Now, here's what's cool about these, is if I look at the coral sword, right? A sword that is effective against aquatic enemies. Sick. Except in the original NES version of the game, these were bugged and they didn't do anything. Okay? So as a kid, I used to be like, oh, I'm going to strategize. I'm going to equip the cool sword to do the cool thing. And it didn't do anything. Except, by the way, the worm killer sword is a sword that is effective against dragons. The only reason I bring this up is because even though the coral sword is less attack power, so on average, the mithril sword that I'm currently wielding is a stronger blade. If I know that I'm about to travel, say, a bunch of rivers, which I am, because I'm going to take my canoe and I'm going to take my canoe up into the mountains, then I will equip the coral sword, because even though the attack is lower on average, against specifically water-based enemies, it's going to be a lot stronger, right? So that's kind of like part of the fun and the strategy of this game. And by the way, it's something that I think Fabula Ultima does a really good job with their equipment and the equipment action. And I know that my group has been having a lot of fun with the ability to sort of, swap out their gear even during mid-combat in order to be more effective because of how, important vulnerabilities and resistances are in Fabula Ultima. All right, well, I'm not going to wait all night. We've got 4 to 2. We're going to go to the Ice Cave. No. I will also say I don't remember. So, in the original Final Fantasy, if a target, Smith got poisoned. If a target got killed, the rest of your attacks would miss. This wasn't actually an intentional feature of the game. It just sort of happened, but it kind of adds this really cool strategy to the game. Unfortunately, in the Pixel Remaster, you can't turn that off, and so unfortunately we have to we can deal with this. All right. Oh, another thing is, because I'm trying to stay true to the game, this game does have quote-unquote better potions. They have high potions and X potions. I have made the decision not to use them because I don't want to, ruin the integrity of the game. No, we want to go to the Ice Cave. You guys voted for the Ice Cave. All right. We got to go to our ship. First, we got to go to our pirate ship. Mage doing work. And note, because it's a spell slot system, a lot of times you don't want to waste your mages, you don't want to waste the good spells on the crappy monsters, so. I should have just stolen this, George, last night. So last night we played Fabula Ultima, and it started as a joke and a meme, but I was like, we found a QuickTime event module for Foundry, like an actual, spam spacebar, hit the bar between the targets, keep your cursor on a moving icon. And Smith was like, oh, sick, fishing minigame, what? And so then at the last minute, I completely remade the session to be a fishing dungeon minigame. So anyways, what's funny is, so they got into, when they got into combat, I had this pirate ship deck battle screen, and it looked basically just like that. So I should have just used that. So because we have our pirate ship now here. Oh. Let it not be said that when I don't care, okay, in a weird way, the less I care about a campaign, the better that campaign will be. Which isn't to say that I don't care about the Fabula Ultima campaign. It's just that if the party's like, hey, instead of, you know, going to try to stop Golbez from acquiring the crystals and destroying all existence, we want to go, you know, on a fishing mission, a fishing subquest. Yeah, I'm like, okay. Now, these are the rivers above the high glacier, where we are going for, you know, trying to head to the ice cave. Now, this is kind of a maze, a little bit, as you can kind of see here. And I mean, we have a mini map, but I don't 100% remember my way around this. So we might be here for a little bit. Oh yeah, there's encounters on the rivers. Woo! Woo! Wow. Man, Hamblede just took half their life from this white croc. Holy shit. Now, another thing which is really interesting about Final Fantasy is very rarely is an encounter going to be like TPKable, right? It's all about that sort of like grind to zero. Actually, I want to check these hydras. So I'm going to cast a Thundara here. It's going to hit everybody with lightning. Nice. By the way, it's hard to see because we have our tip goals up. You know what? I'll hide them. We don't need, no one's tipping anything. No, that's not it. Here we go. You can see that with one hit, my black mage was almost taken out. So the advantage that I have is that the monsters target randomly, and my top position guy, my smith or my warrior, he is going to take 50% of all attacks. The person in the second row is going to take 25% of the attacks. And then the white mage and the black mage are going to take 12.5% and 12.5% respectively. So that's kind of how you protect your weak people. Yes, I should have brought an undead shambling mound. I think I went the right way. Holy shit, I went the right way. That's sick. I mean, I did have the mini-map, but... Alright, this white croc is a problem, so I'm going to stack up on the white croc. Do I have anything stronger than that? No, I don't. Whew. Yeah, the white croc's no joke. And that'll often be the case, too. Like, you know, most of the monsters are going to be very insignificant. And then you'll get one or two types of monsters that'll just be completely devastating. Like, again, I'm not going to lie to you. We're going to go into this ice cave. And this is an old school game, so you cannot save in a dungeon. Now, to be clear, in this modern version of the game, you can, right? Because it's whatever. But like in classic Final Fantasy, you cannot. And so, you know, you go into the dungeon, you fight your way through it, whatever. Now, at the end of this dungeon, spoiler alert, at the end of the dungeon, used to be a beholder. Okay? Like in the original Japanese version of this game, it was literally like it looked like a pixel art beholder. They got sued by D&D and by TSR, so they had to change it, and they changed it to a creature known as the Eye. Okay? Legally distinct beholder, and it looks a little bit different. It looks a little bit more like a roper now than it did. But because originally it was like, you know, a floating orb with eyes. Anyways, but what they didn't change is that this creature has like an AoE death spell that can just kill everybody in your party. So we might do this entire dungeon and then get to that fight and then I could just wipe on the first round of combat, and we have to do it all over again. So, just letting you know, prepare now for tiltingness. All right, so now that we're back on land, I'm going to get my mithril sword re-equipped. All right. Now, again, so just more Final Fantasy lore for those of you. So in the NES version, because, you know, the games were a little bit simpler back then, right? In the NES version, the final space of the dungeon that guards the treasure that you're here to get, that space triggers the fight with the eye, right? Or the beholder. But there isn't, the game doesn't actually track whether or not the beholder's been killed. So every time you step into that space, it spawns one of these creatures again. Okay? Now, in this modern version of the game, and all the modern versions, not just this one, but all the modern versions, they've changed this so that, you know, it's literally just a one-time encounter. The reason I bring this up is because if you ever watch people speed run Final Fantasy, what they will do is, because that creature's worth a lot of XP, and the only thing it really does is instantly kill you. So what people will do is they will like speed run to a point where they'll get ribbons, which make your character immune to instant death. Then they'll come back to this cave, fight their way to it, and just keep going back and forth, fighting this thing over and over again because it's worth a lot of XP, and it can't kill them because they have the ribbon equipped, which is an item for much later in the game. So to be clear, they go through this dungeon, they get the airship, they go to like the end of the game, they buy the ribbon, they come back here, and then they grind because it's like one of the best grind spots in the game. We won't be doing that because, you know, we're not. Well, number one, they fixed it. They fixed the bug, I guess you could say. You can't do that anymore in this version. You can only fight it once. But also, too, I mean, I'm not trying to speed run or grind anything. All right, so we are going to save. Now, again, in traditional Final Fantasy games, you can only save when you are in the overworld, as we are right now. So you can't save in a dungeon. Now, because we're playing modern-day Care Bear cuddly crap, there is this quick save option. However, before you, myself, and God, we will not be quick saving, okay? All right, so we are full up. Smith 420 blaze it, and let's go. Let's go. Now, another advantage that we have here is we have a mini-map in the upper right-hand corner. In the original Final Fantasy game, you did not have a mini-map. So you were on your own. Hey, thank you, Thaddeus.
Thaddeus tipped $5. Take this. Excited to play the 5th TTRPG tomorrow as the Astrologian healer. Have you played FF Tactics of Our Lies Chronicles?
That's pretty sweet. So, Thaddeus, I don't know why chat didn't show your tip. That's weird. So Smith is currently playing Final Fantasy 14. Smith has been kind of actually on me a little bit. You know, I've just been trying to do too much. But he was kind of like, hey, man, like whenever you want me to come over, because he's been sitting on Final Fantasy 14 TTRPG, since it came out, and even I've finally bought it, and I haven't looked at it yet. So Smith wants to come over. We want to do a full breakdown of the game, and he's like max level in like every class in the game. He's a super Final Fantasy player. So that's pretty sweet. The only reason I know Astrologian is from Astrologian's Planisphere from Magic the Gathering. Have I played Final Fantasy Tactics: The Evilise Chronicles? No. The last time and the only time I played Final Fantasy Tactics was on the Super Nintendo, or not the Super Nintendo, the PlayStation 1. I think I played the one where you throw snowballs, and then I was out. But hey, thank you for the 10-month resub with Prime. Thank you, Lily. I thought I got rid of these. There we go. All right. So preemptive strike means I get a full round of attacks, right, without any of them attacking back. So a surprise round. So another fun little bit of Final Fantasy lore. There is a stat called the luck stat. And the luck stat, one of the things it does is determine whether you surprise people. And in the original Nintendo version of Final Fantasy, it was completely bugged. And so it didn't work. And because it didn't work, thieves were kind of useless. Now, we don't have a thief in this party. But if we did, the luck stat would actually be doing something now, and we would be surprising our enemies much more often than we do. Now, these are undead. I don't recall much about them, but one of the most important things about undead is that our white mage, Amblade, has a line of spells called the Dia, or the Day spells. They used to be called Harm, but these only do damage to undead. Unfortunately, I only have this one. So I don't recall how hard these monsters are, so yeah, we'll blow one. Now, Hoyrit has a tougher decision. I gotta make all these spell slots last for the entire dungeon. So, you know, Firaga, which is Fire 3, would light these things up, right? Like, pretty much almost probably kill everything in the goddamn encounter. It's like a nuclear weapon. But I only get 5 of them for the whole dungeon. And there's going to be some, like, ice dragons and shit. So, I don't know. We're going to hold it up. Alright, these guys weren't too bad. Now, again, that was a surprise round, right? So we had that advantage. I just didn't remember how strong they were. All right, so now we enter into some other problems. We've got a pair of cockatrices. Now, a cockatrice can, you guessed it, turn you to stone. So every time they hit you, you have to make a check, and if you fail the check, you turn to stone. So I'm definitely going to be putting some DPS into the cockatrices first to try to make sure I burn them down. Now, they don't have a lot of hit points. I should be able to kill them. Ugh. So like every time you get hit, you're like, please don't kill me. I don't think mummies do anything particularly brutal. Yeah. Hey, Smith got the level up. So when you level up, you obviously get a random roll of hit points. So Smith got a really nice roll there. He picked up 30 more HP. And then there's also a random roll to see which of your stats go up. Now, because he is a warrior, there's a greater chance that he will increase things like his strength, his agility, and his stamina. But it's not guaranteed. His intellect and luck can also go up sometimes. But in this case, this is a really good roll for us. We got good strength, good agility. Agility affects your critical hit rate, by the way. So we got stairs down, and we got stairs up. Oh, okay. So what just happened there is our warrior Smith got paralyzed by the wraith. Now he's not dead, but you know, he obviously skips his turn, right? He's stunned. Now, as you can see, Bob, our monk, is kind of a DPS badass, but it's no joke. All right, then there comes the rest of our crew. 3 triple level ups. Everybody going to 26. So here we go. So this is a great example of why Bob sucks. Now, to be clear, Bob just got a monstrous roll. He needed this. He got a plus 30 HP. That is monster. We needed that because he was lagging so far behind. But in this case, Bob didn't pick up any strength, any agility, and any stamina. Those are what I want him to pick up as a melee monk. In fact, after we level up, after we go to our prestige class, and the warrior becomes a knight, the knight will actually kind of becomes a paladin. He'll gain some limited white magic capability, and the thief becomes a ninja and actually gains some limited black magic capability. So you heard it here, folks. You guys bitch about D&D? Okay, well, guess what? In 1988 or whatever, when this game came out, there were 6 classes, and by the end of the game, 5 of the 6 classes could cast magic. The only one that doesn't is the monk. The monk becomes the master, and the master doesn't get any magic at all. Our white mage picked up intellect and a good HP buff. We love to see it. And so did our black mage. Okay. Well, I guess we can't go that way. Blocked off. All right. They were just fucking with us. Now, generally speaking, too, as you go down into the game, as you go deeper into the dungeons, things become more difficult. Cynical Dragon, are you asking what is a paladin like in a generic sense? Or are you asking like... Okay, I'm assuming you're not asking what a paladin is, but I'm saying the warrior class upgrades to the knight. And the knight is kind of like a paladin in that they are a badass warrior, swords, heavy armor, and can cast white magic. You are stuck with the characters you start with for the entire game. There is a mod, I think, or a... There's some... I think it's a user... I think it's a mod where the game's a lot harder. And when your characters die, they're permanently dead. And you have to recruit new characters. All right. Now, I don't really remember where we're going. Okay, so we're just going around. Again, so far, not too bad. These undead aren't too difficult. Now, the thing is, it's a random encounter. I could get 4 white dragons. And that could be really bad for us if that happened. Woo! 8 hits from our monk. Blowing them up. So you'll notice that the warrior Smith gets 4 hits, right? But Bob gets 8. Because, again, he's unarmed, so... Like water in the desert, the best place for your hit points is inside of yourself. Look at this. Even after that massive hit point blaze, our white mage is rocking 400 hit points. Our white mage almost has as many hit points as our warrior. Yeah, I know, right? Like, you get so used to your warrior only just taking one. Because, by the way it works is you get hit for amount of damage, and then your defense score, your armor score, subtracts. So the way it works... Okay, so you have here, you have an evasion percentage. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you evade 19% of attacks. What it basically means is the monster's accuracy is compared to your evasion, and that determines how many hits hit you. Again, it's very... Players will get missed sometimes because you're fighting weaker monsters, but a lot of times it means the difference between getting hit 3 times or getting hit 2 times or getting hit 1 time. Now, the warrior, all of his armor... Okay, if we look at his shield, okay, see that weight statistic on the bottom? See the knight's armor, how it weighs 33, right? If I remove this, okay, if I remove this armor, my evasion goes up, right? Because by wearing the heavy knight's armor, my evasion goes down, right? Defense score, which for my warrior is 54. That's that damage absorption component of the game. Anyways, the minimum is 1. So when I'm taking 1 damage, I really should be taking like negative damage, but the game goes to 1. And it's very satisfying. In fact, I think it's more satisfying to get hit and take 1 all the time than it is to like just be missed and then occasionally just get blasted. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes an enemy will have a really good high damage roll. Or they'll hit a bunch of times, and then the damage can stack up, but, you know, most of the time. And again, the danger with these guys is not my front line, right? The danger here is that randomly they end up hitting my black mage 2 or 3 times. By the way, Final Fantasy, no Phoenix Downs, you know, nothing like that. So there's no items to just quickly heal, you know, bring someone back to life. There's some high-level white magic that can do it, but if someone dies, usually you're SOL. And again, what you can see here is this fight was never going to TPK me. Although there is a real chance that if, like, for some odd reason you fight randomly, if 7 of them go, maybe they surprise me, and they just because of random numbers they all hit my black mage could die. But really what it is, it's about grinding my hit points and my resource down, right? And after every fight, I'm spending a potion or 2 to bring everybody back up. You know, I only have so many, you know, magic spells, and I want to save most of these higher level ones for the very, you know, in case of emergency. And then in the normal game, like I said, I have a high potion here, which restores 150 hit points. I am not going to use it, though, because that's me staying true to the game. Instead, I'm just going to use the regular potion, which is what was in the original game. Very exciting level. I think there's a chance in that level that you get, there's a tough random encounter. I think there's a chance that you can hit like some white dragons or giants or something. I don't know. Now, the other thing that we want to make sure we don't miss, right, are any... Okay, so now we're fighting mind flayers. Good news. Now, these guys should go down really easily. Woo! That was nice. Their danger is that they can do an AoE stun the party. I don't remember or not, but I think like if your party gets AoE stunned, I think it's a TPK. Okay, now you see that floating rock? Okay, it looks like a weird D8, I guess. That's actually the artifact that we are here to get. Okay, that's the floater. That is what's going to allow us to raise the airship from the sands of the desert. I don't remember the name of the desert. But anyways, so that's what we're here to get. We're here to get that. So here's an ice giant. Again, this shouldn't be too bad. Now again, as long as the giant's attacking our warrior, we're in a good spot. The other reason is when you encounter one giant, realize that could have been 4 giants. It's just a random roll. Okay, we got 4 dark wizards. So these are spellcasters, which means they could potentially cast an AoE fire spell or an AoE ice spell or an AoE whatever spell. So we're going to try to burn these guys down as quickly as we can. I'm going to cast the silence spell from my white mage to hopefully... Now again, it's an, you know, this is again like classic basic D&D, right? I put in my actions first, right? I guess the monsters technically put in their actions, but really they're just rolling randomly. And then we roll initiative and we see which order it goes in, and it's different every time. So I don't know if my white mage gets this silence spell off first, could be devastating. If the white mage casts the silence spell at the end of the round after all 4 of the main mages have AoE nuked our party, it's slightly less impressive, right? Now this is a tough choice. I am going to use a fire spell here just because I'm a little bit worried about these guys. I'm going to use a blizzard spell because this isn't really going to be useful in the ice cave. So, okay. So, did you see that Scourge miss? He just cast AoE death on my party, by the way. That's what that was. Scourge is AoE death. Okay, so my mages are... Okay. So that wasn't as bad as it could have been. But to be very clear, they started off by casting AoE death on my party. Now it missed. So that was probably, you know, that was good. And what was in that treasure chest? Ordinary clothes. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm really messed up. Jack asks what Monk Tor is up to, and he says, being jealous about you playing Tor. By that he means the One Ring. Yeah, so tomorrow's going to be our One Ring session 1. We're going to be actually playing. I don't know yet. I mean, we're going to record it. I don't know if I'm going to go live yet. I kind of want to tweak the live stream a little bit. I've been trying to mess around with a way to make it easier on my end. But it might just be easier for me just to record it. Oh! All right. Here we go. So we just picked up the flame sword. So we are going to equip the flame sword. Now this obviously does a lot of things. Number one, this is just strictly a better sword. Our attack power is greater. Our accuracy is greater. And obviously, this thing is going to fuck up ice creatures. So this was a total win. Fuck it, let's do it love. I mean, let's do it live. Also, I agree, Cineboss. You know, I think that maybe, you know, 3rd edition, ruined. Like, there used to be this, like, not, oh, it's a flaming sword, or slap a flaming rune on it. No. There was the flame tongue. The flame tongue. That was it. That was the flaming sword, you know? Now, I would love to go get that gem. Let's go get it. Oh, no! No one saw that coming. So now we fall to the bottom of the ice cave. And there's monsters. Okay. Now, luckily, these aren't too bad. All these things can paralyze us, by the way, so this could have been a lot worse. I always get nervous when I get hit because it's just like, I mean, you can see, I mean, look, so our Bob is down to half hit points, or almost half hit points, and he's paralyzed. He's just getting fucking trunched. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, mages are so good. How is that not satisfying? Tell me that's not satisfying, just to watch that happen. You know? Our black mage has done nothing and then just goes and just kills everybody. I love it. It's just so satisfying. That's just, I mean, ugh. All right. But again, we started with 100 potions. We're down to 75, right? So we're through 25% of our potion resource, you know? All right, so we definitely need... Oh, this is the level... Yeah, okay. So, if we take a look at our mini-map... Again, normally we don't have a mini-map, but, you know, whatever. It's modern day. So we definitely want to get these 2 treasure chest rooms, right? So we want to get this one to the upper left, and we want to get this one to the bottom left. And then we can see that there's the stairs over to the right. However, this level has these ice shard fields. Every step you take damage. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. And of course, there's one... All right, now these are winter wolves. Low HP, but they do have an AoE frost breath. By the way, if you missed it, I don't know if you saw it, but check out when Smith attacks with the flame sword. I don't know if you... As long as they're attacking, that's fine. Yeah. Well, a little late there, White Mage. But she just cast a Null Frost on them. We should be fine now. Woo! 406. Now, again, the problem with like those AoE spells is, you know, they start eating into all the hit points, you know. Monster. All right, 2 white dragons. No big deal. Let's see if she can get this off. So I'm actually gonna haste. Yeah, I think I'm gonna haste my fighter. Oof. Oh, I think our black mage is dead. Oh, shit. Good casting Null Frost after I get double AoE'd. Shit. Hey, we got the ice armor. That'll be really cool when we go to the volcano. Now, the good news is we have a high level white mage. If we didn't have a white mage, there'd be nothing we could do about this. But we do have a white mage, so we're not completely fucked. But again, you have to understand that these spells are some of our strongest spells that we have in the entire, game. Now, unfortunately, our black mage didn't get XP for that battle, so he's going to be behind. You can see how much, you can see here, it's kind of in chat, right? Like, he, where is it? Here we go. He's now, like, 1,000 plus behind, 1,100 XP behind the rest of the party, but, times are tough. Again, and we're down to 50. We're down to basically 50 potions, so we're through half of our, basically free healing. Mithril gloves. Do we already have those? Yeah, we already have those. So we got stuff that we already have. Now we could equip the ice armor. It guards against fire. I don't think it hurts us to wear it, so we might as well wear it. I don't think it makes us vulnerable to ice. I don't think so. I'm gonna put it on. Yes, fuck it. We need to go down and then all the way down. These guys again. Well, at least there's that. I just didn't want to fuck around. Ooh! Just randomly get the ice shield? Sick. Alright. By the way, you know how you can tell that I am old and a grognard and just I'm not made for this? I'm playing with this, right? I bought this at Micro Center or whatever when I started this because I didn't own a game controller. So it's like an Xbox game controller or whatever. Smith told me, "Oh yeah, you can just buy an Xbox. It'll, Bluetooth, it'll work." And I'm doing all this with the D-pad. I don't ever use this little joystick thing ever. Never touch it. Ooh. All right, now, you know what this monster is. It just might not look exactly like we normally think of it as. It's a Remoraz. Woo! She just got hit for 112. Oh, Ray Tails. That would actually be sweet. I didn't even think about that, Ray. Alright. Somehow I feel like we're going to get attacked by monsters. Oh, 7,900 gil. 9,900 gil. 5,400. 5,000. Random encounter. Oh. Okay. That was about the best thing that we could ever possibly have hoped for. We got surprised by 2 white dragons, and both of them chose to do melee attacks against our fighter. Also, by the way, it should be pointed out that if, for whatever reason, the white mage dies, there is obviously nothing I could do about getting anybody back. Correct. Lance is correct. They could have breathed twice, and we don't know. They could be about to breathe. They could win initiative and then breathe. But they could have breathed twice gone, 1 initiative, and then breathe twice. We just have no idea what's going to happen yet. All right. I'm going to try to cast Null Frost again. All right. Worth it to avoid any unfortunate complications. All right. Good level. Now, so here's an example of, you know, we got some good stats on Smith. Agility and stamina, good, right? But his hit point roll was bad, right? He only got 6 hit points. Last level, he got 30. This level, he got 6. All right, Bob picked up 6 hit points as well, but he did pick up agility and stamina, which is nice. 5 for our white mage, picked up some stamina. And, of course, the black mage is still behind the 8-ball because he died. Ooh, we have the preemptive strike, so this is great. So we'll definitely be able to clear this up nicely with, I think, a fire spell. These guys don't have, like, the most hit points in the world. Notice now our warrior is doing 5 hits. Yeah, and again, it's just like playing Fabula Ultima. Well, I guess Fabula Ultima is just like playing this. If you know the elemental resistances, if you know the vulnerabilities, you know, the game's a lot easier. If you're, you know, equipped to throw down some fire spells on the Winter Wolves, you know, it's going to go quite well for you. Now, unfortunately, we did not get the preemptive strike here, but now we only have 3. We only have 3 of these fires left, because, by the way, you can't use, like, higher level spell slots for lower level ones, just in case you were wondering. This is fine. It's fine. They all roll their AoE. That's great. Here's my AoE, bitch. All this makes me want to do is play a wizard in 3rd edition D&D when they were actually cool. 12,350 gil. And by the way, this is going to be nice because we're going to need a lot of this money, because once we get through this part of the game and we go to the high-end towns, all the spells are incredibly expensive. Those ribbons I was talking about, incredibly expensive. Yes. Also, yes, my black mage got no stats on that level up. But again, you know, those AoEs, you know, when they hit everybody in the party, it's like, okay, well, it's going to take like 2 or 3 potions, 2 potions, 2 potions, 2 potions, and suddenly we're down to 34 potions. So, you know, the way I think about potions in this game is like as if you had some sort of like healing surge mechanic, but you can really only use it out of combat. Like, because you could use a potion in combat, but, you know, giving up your turn to heal 50 is just not even close to being worth it. So realistically, potions are only usable outside of combat. It's kind of like a Cure Light Wounds wand, right, from 3rd edition, if you could only bring 1 Cure Light Wounds wand, right, for the whole party, per dungeon. All right. Man, these things... Like, obviously, I know that that's what these monsters do, but I'm just, like, annoyed every time they do it. Oh, they used their AoE again. I had a Fabula Ultima fight last night. The party fought 5 mages, right? Meaning, like, casters. So there was, like, 3 thunder gems and 2 ice gems, or wind gems. And the lightning mages cast a powerful single target spell that would do some auxiliary damage, but then the wind mages had a 3 target AoE, and it's really effective to be able to do that. Now, obviously, if they run out of MP, it's pretty brutal because then they really don't do much. But until they run out of the MP, they are really, really tough. Yeah, so they didn't make it to the crab, Jackal. We finished a little bit early, so we finished at around 11. I mean, we played for like 3 hours and change, but You know, we spent a lot of time, I'm not complaining, by the way, but we spent a lot of time at the beginning of the session because at level 20, after defeating the Raphelia, the evil flower plant, and they freed the root speaker, he unlocked their zero powers. So we went around and, you know, the team worked together to create their zero powers, give them name. You know, we've got some pixel art for everybody's zero powers, and so now everybody has their zero power. But what they don't have is their zero trigger. So they have their zero power. They can get it the normal. They can unlock it through spending fabula points and taking damage, but they don't have the trigger yet. They have to each complete a quest in order to unlock the trigger. But see, like, how is it possible that D&D didn't get this right? Because let me ask you something, okay? We just fought a frost giant, okay? And then the warrior, with his awesome flaming sword and his ice armor and ice shield, just went up and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and killed the giant. Now, yeah, the black mage hit him with his knife for like 30 damage, but then the warrior hit him. But who's cooler in this party? The warrior or the black mage? It's like, I mean, I think we can all agree it's not the white mage, but that's okay. But I mean, somehow this game does something that modern D&D lacked. Ooh, an ether. Another item I will not be using because it didn't exist in the original Final Fantasy. What do we want to do in this level? We got lots of treasures on this level. We go up, down, around. Okay. Ooh, blood bones. Huh? Yes. Ayla is completely correct. Yeah. The tragic fate of the healer has been... Ayla says, the tragic fate of the healer has always been to be really important while at the same time being deeply, deeply uncool. And again, I mean, not most recently, I mean, it was probably 2 years ago at this point, but the last time I played... No. 2 times ago, I played Pathfinder 2. I started the campaign off as a healer. I was a cleric. I was a halfling cleric of Saren Ray. And so even technically, I had access to Fireball, right? Because Fireball gets added to your divine spell list as a cleric of Saren Ray. And by the time we got to like level 8 or 9 or something, I told Smith, I said, I can't retire my character because I don't know that the party would be able to live without my heal spells, but I need to play something else. So I made a fighter, right? And I made a meme fighter, right? I made a dual yo-yo fighter, dual gnomish flick mace, pre-nerf, by the way. And I told Smith, I go, it's fine. I'll be able to play both characters. They're both dead simple, especially the cleric, because all I ever do is cast heal. But I was like, yeah, this is just not fun. It wasn't. It just wasn't. This is another thing that Final Fantasy does, which I really love. And I'm doing this a lot in Fabula Ultima because I'm lazy. Which I love the idea of, like, you fight the same monster throughout the course of the game. They just change the color palette a little bit and make it tougher. I think that's cool. 10,000. Because, you know, you're like, oh, I've fought this monster before. It's just a higher level monster version of it. You know, I like that. Do not turn him to stone. So that ice spell. So that's a great example, right? So I used ice there because I knew ice wouldn't be that effective against the mummies, but I knew it would be enough to kill the cockatrices. And since the ice slots, aren't that useful, in particular dungeon, you know, I'll just waste them. I'll kind of waste them on this fight, right? All right. All right. We are now down to 29 potions. Probably because they wanted to make him look like the character from He-Man. You're thinking of Orko, by the way. By the way, oh, Bob just got turned to stone. I missed it. Great. And again, this isn't like, you know, oh, he's turned to stone, but then after, you know, after the battle, you can sprinkle cockatrice guts on him and he you know, isn't turned to stone anymore. No, he's turned to stone. So I need to use one of my golden needles. Now, these are pretty expensive, but I do, you know, I do have 30 of them. So it's not too bad. It really just means he's kind of out of the fight. Now, unfortunately, that was a second ice shield. Just in case we had two fighters or something. If I step there, I fall down. And I think I want to. I think. Okay. Here's hoping we don't just instantly get killed. This fight will go one of two ways. All right. That's huge, okay? We got surprised on the boulder. All right, so we should be fine. We should be fine. I say should. We should be fine. We should be fine. And that's that. By the way, my fighter just came up and janked him. You obtain a Levistone. Now, here's the thing, and I want to have this conversation really quick. Was that anticlimactic? Now, there's people who would say yes, but I argue that, you know, if I'm here to win the game, right, I'm not mad. Like, if you are the wizard in that party, and the fighter just goes up and just goo, 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 you're not like, oh, man, I wanted to go. Like, you're like, no, fuck that thing. That was awesome. Also, we just got lucky as shit. We surprised it, and our fighter just killed it. Right, exactly. Monktor says, I should have fudged the HP to make him last around. Exactly. No, but that's the sick mentality that we are up against. It's crazy. And, you know, especially considering that, and I'm not even kidding you, that monster can just AoE death and kill our party. So it's, you know, it's just crazy to me that is a situation that we find ourselves in. Additionally, what was I saying? Additionally, fuck. Now my brain's stopped working. Oh, right. That, like, it's not about that one fight, right? It's about the whole dungeon, you know? Like, we made it down here in good condition, right? We are down to our final 25 potions, right? We still had a good number. By the way, this is a real psych out, by the way, because you're like, okay, cool, I'll just go leave. Like, nope. You have to fall through the cracks again, go all the way down to the bottom of the cave, and then go all the way back up again. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Thank you, Dirty Phil, for Dagger explaining the fight. In original Dungeons and Dragons, I told a story the other day about we had a crew of level 1 parties. We were playing Adventure Conqueror King system, Axe it's called, which is kind of like it's like an old school hack of AD&D, kind of, sort of. Anyways, we were playing this a couple years ago, and more than a couple years ago. But we were playing this a couple years ago. The party was level 1, I think. Everyone was level 1. And we had a random encounter. They were outside. So you had the scary outdoors overworld random encounter. And it was 1d4 Medusa. And I rolled 2. And there were 2 Medusas. And if we were playing, like, think about a modern game where you have a group of like 4 or 5 level 1 part PCs, and you roll 2 CR, whatever, 6, 7, 8 Medusas, right? They're just dead. It's not even a question about whether they get turned to stone or not, right? Those monsters would have, 148 hit points. Why? Because they're level 8 monster. But the thing is in original D&D, they were ladies with snakes for hair. And yeah, they could turn you to stone, but their armor class was like 13, because they were just basically wearing like a leather cuirass, or maybe like had scaly skin. Their hit points, it was like 30, 35, because hit points didn't go to scale and bloat like that. And so what ended up happening is a group of level 1 party members and their hirelings and their men at arms were able to kill these essentially, CR8 Medusas. And I think that's awesome, especially for that style of play. All right. Well, anyways, what's really funny is if you do all that, and then somehow get random encounter on the way back up, you're like, wait, didn't we fight this guy before? Yeah, he's back. Now, last time we fought him, it was a bunch of undead. So let's see what he is this time. All right, still a bunch of undead. And now that we kind of know we're on our way out, we can kind of let things off the chain a little bit, because now we're getting to the point where we can start burning out our resources, because we're starting to kind of figure out our way out. And I don't want to get, killed by something stupid. Oh, thank you, for some reason. All right, back the way we came. No, like, it's still scary. Our black mage can still get hit for half his hit points by one blow from a frost giant, right? So, and imagine if it was a crit, right? It would be even more devastating. All right, they both chose to attack. That was good for us. So this is the other thing too about, this is actually something I really like about Fabula Ultima, which is, so there's another example of an item that this game has that the original Final Fantasy did not have. I will not be using Phoenix Downs. Like, if you're fighting, if you're playing D&D and the GM has a bunch of mind flayers, like, I like that in Fabula Ultima, the monsters, in theory, they're supposed to have like a routine or even like a random roll of behavior. Dragonbane does this, right? Forbidden Lands does this with their monsters. Because then as the GM, I'm not like picking sides and being like, well, I could triple Mind Flayer, AoE, Cone Stun the party, and then whoever doesn't get stunned by the first one is going to get stunned by the second one, is going to get stunned by the third one. And then after everyone's stunned and paralyzed, I'll just come over and coup de grace everybody, right? But instead, you can be like, look, that's not my decision. I'm just going to roll randomly and see what they do. Oh, the Mind Flayers decide to come over and punch you. Right? And in that case, both the Mind Flayers decided to come over and punch us. You know, and sometimes you get a random encounter like this. One Spectre. You know, and I like it because it allows me, you know, it allows me to truly be, you know, unbiased and non-ambivalent. You know, I like that. I like being able to be like, yeah, I don't care. I'm not trying to, you know, I'm just as curious to see what's going to happen to you too. I just realized I use fire on the blood bones. I don't know if that's going to be a smart idea, but. And obviously, we'll see. Yeah, okay. It's still damage. Obviously, that works a lot better in a game like Fabula Ultima that doesn't really have a grid, you know, or a thing or anything like that. But we did it! Yay! All right, we went into the cave level 25, and now we are level 27. So now, back to our canoe. Randomly minotaurs and scorpions. In case you're wondering, it's called Scourge. It's an instant death spell that the Black Mage can cast. It's basically Cloud Kill. It's basically what it's supposed to be. Cinnabos. Yeah, I'll swap back to the coral. Well, I don't. There is a break-even point, but it's probably only like if I had like if I had like Excalibur or something like super in the late game. Oh, look at that! They're 1 XP away. Oh, nice level for Smith. 7. You know, he gained 7 HP, but he gained a point of strength. Strength is, you know, that's our good stuff. So let's take a look here. Oh, we got match. It's getting close to probably being break even, so I'm just gonna leave the flame sword open. We're like high enough level now, it doesn't matter as much. It's a Neochu! Oh my god, we got a level up. Ooh, nice level for Bob. He gained stats in everything. And Amblade gained intellect. Now, as a mage, we really want Amblade to be getting, you know, intellect. That's their primary caster stat. Ooh, field research. I've just completed 50% of the bestiary menu. How the hell do I get to the bestiary? Apparently there's a bestiary. I don't know how to do that. Options. Where, how do I get options? What do I push? Like, there's no start and select on this thing. Like, there's no options here. What am I supposed to do? Config. What the fuck is config? Oh, okay. Configuration. No, that doesn't do it. Okay, there we go. Sick. That's cool. Weakness, fire, and lightning. Oh, okay, cool. I need to take notes on this for my Fabulous Ultimate game. Resistance to poison, stone, ice, and earth. Dang. Look at the magic defenses of these creatures. Jeez. 196 on the white dragon, 187 on the mind flayer. No, there's 128. Oh, Lich must be in here somewhere, right? Yeah, there's Lich. So that was the first Fiend. That's the Fiend of Earth. So he had 1,200 hit points. There we go. Okay, but here's the thing though, Munktor. To be clear, Munktor, about the white dragon though. Because you're not wrong, but I will say this, like, my general thought process is, okay, he's weak to fire, he's resistant to ice. In fact, he should probably be immune to ice or even absorb ice. Okay, my general thought process is, if something flies or is aerial, that's when it should be weak to lightning or air. Now, obviously, this game doesn't have the air damage type. Fabula Ultima does. So if you gave me a white dragon from Fabula Ultima and he was weak to fire, air, and lightning, I think that actually makes a lot of sense. You know? Like, in my mind, something that's flying should probably be resistant to earth, maybe? I don't know. Yes, banana damage. There is no air damage. It's just banana damage. Oh! The white croc almost killed our white mage. These white crocs are no joke, man. They're like nuclear missiles, man. It's crazy. All right. Ooh, nice level for the black. Oh, that is a nice level for black mage. Great HP roll. 25 hit points on the HP roll, and he got a point of intellect. That is awesome. All right, we are out of level 1 spells. Let's kill this stupid white croc. What do we got? What's the strongest thing I've got? I don't know. Of course it goes first. Look at that! 128 to Bob! Bob is almost freaking bloodied. Alright, Bob came back with 300 damage. Though. Good job casting Protect on everybody, white mage. And again, too, you know, for me, it's fine. You know, Ray, like, okay, maybe in your game, flying creatures aren't vulnerable to lightning. Okay, fine, bolt or whatever, bolt damage, lightning damage. But what's important to me is that there's a consistent pattern that the players can learn. If it's just like some flying creatures are vulnerable to lightning, some flying creatures are not vulnerable to lightning. There seems to be no rhyme or reason as to what is vulnerable to lightning. That's when I get frustrated. All right, so now we are ahead of the curve, because now we can we have the Levistone, so now we can go to the ancient desert. Now, of course, remember that in this game, there's nothing in the game that even remotely tells you anything. Like, let me rephrase it. Like, there's no, question mark spot. There's not even an indication that there's anything in the desert. The only way that you actually know that there's potentially an ancient airship buried in this desert is by talking to all the NPCs in the game. And then learning that there's supposedly there is an ancient artifact, the Levistone, also the floater is what it was called in the original NES, capable of lifting, defying gravity itself. Cue Idina Menzel. So you literally have to piece it all together, because there's nothing about this desert at all that, it's almost like the original NES Legend of Zelda, where you're just like, I don't know, bomb everything, I guess, hope you find the dungeon. Like, there's no real rhyme or reason as to why, how you're supposed to do it. By the way, in the original NES, these were just called Hill Giants, but then Final Fantasy got into the habit of calling them Gigas. And the name has, I guess, stuck since then. Cutscene. All right, well, if that doesn't get you pumped up, who doesn't? We got an airship, everybody. We got a motherfucking airship. Now the world is our oyster. So now we can really do things out of order. Because, like I said, now we don't have to take the canoe, right? Like, in fact, for the most part, our boat will probably be locked here till the end of the game, right? And so, now I can just go, I can fly right next to the volcano, and I can just walk in the volcano. I don't have to do any of this navigating. Just fuck your puzzle, G. Fuck your overworld puzzle of all your confusing rivers and, trying to figure your way through all the confusing rivers, GM. I just fly in my thing to it. Now, that's one thing we could do. The second thing that we can now do is we can fly all the way to the north of the country. So we're all the way up here now. We're at the top of the map, and these are the Dragon Isles. And now we can talk to Bahamut, and he can give us our class change, where our warrior becomes a knight, and our mages become wizards. The other thing that we can do now is we can access even some of the, end game towns that exist. So, for example, we can now go to this town, which is Gaia. And this town has magic stores. And, that spell costs 30,000 gold. Now, we have 168,000 gold, but you can see it's pretty expensive. Now, you can see that even, you're like, okay, so our white mage can learn that? No, our white mage can't learn Kuraja. Only a white wizard can learn this. So even though we can afford it, and even though we're here, and even though our white mage has level 7 spell slots, they're not the right class. We actually have to level up our class before we can actually buy this stuff. Same thing with buying Blizzaga. Oh, actually, look, he can buy Blizzaga. Fuck yeah, we're getting Blizzaga, boys. All right, 30,000 well spent. Now we can use those. I mean, look, he's got 4. Now this is a classic Final Fantasy. We have spell slots at level 6 and level 7 and level 8, and we just don't have spells for them. We don't have any level 6 spells, but we do have a level 7 spell. Oh, it's great. And then up here, these magic shops only sell 1 spell each. These are the level 8 magic spells. Holy. So there you go. In this game, they did call it Holy. Null, All, and Spell. Dispel. And Stop, Warp, Kill. Just super high level nonsense. But we can also... Yes, it's very Avada Kedavra. So I'm going to sell the stuff that I've agreed not to use. So I'm going to sell my saber. I'm going to sell this mithril. I'm going to sell my high potions because I'm not using those. We have an extra ice shield. We don't need that one. I'm going to sell this ether. Not because it's bad, but because I've agreed not to use it. I'll take the money, though. You know, you got to give me something. Well, actually, while we're here, I mean, I could do this in any town, really, but let me. Okay. All right. So the other thing that I was talking about here, this is like what the power gamers will do, is they'll go get the airship. They'll come to this town. Okay, well, no one can use this, I guess. And they'll come by this, the protect ring, and this is the a ring that guards against instant death. So this is only sold here in this town. So you normally go and you beat that eye thing, and then you come and you buy this. You buy 4 of these. You put it on all 4 of your people, and then you go back to the ice cave. You fight your way all the way through it, and then you just grind that eye thing over and over and over again. That's how it worked in the original NES. That doesn't work here anymore, but... ooh, that's kind of expensive, but how much better is it, though? It's defense 24. So let's see what our mages are currently rocking. She's rocking a silver amulet, which is defense 15. So yeah, I think I'm going to buy that. It's expensive, but... I want to get... Oh. Bob is rocking one of those too, huh? Alright, I guess I'm buying 3. And now we have 22,000 gold. So we have no money. And we're broke. And it's gone. All right. And it's gone. Now, what's funny about timing to grind, West Lawrence, is that, again, when people do grind the eye actually only gives you 1 gold. It's actually really bad for XP. I don't believe it. You're outsiders, aren't you? How did you make up this high in the mountains? Can you fly or something? Nah, that's impossible. And then what we were saying before, too, is, spoiler alert, is that Bahamut, the King of Dragons, is actually going to send us to this castle to prove our worth. But we did say fire and ice, so we're just going to do this. So we'll go talk to... I mean, we don't actually need to get the quest or anything like that. We can literally just go there without actually talking to him. But, you know, we'll do it for fun. Oh my god, it's a dragon! Once long ago, there was an age when man and dragon lived together. That's it. I live in this cave alone. Get the fuck out of my house. Thank you, dragon. Ah, you die. You crash in the water and die instantly. Quick time event. Can you land the airship? No, you die instantly. Let me steal all your stuff, dragons. 2,000 gold? Come on, you're supposed to be dragons. Where's all the money? I need money, son. Only the truly brave can obtain a token of their courage. An X potion. We're not using that cheaty McCheater shit. Alright. First, we must loot the dragons for all they're worth. Oh, a little swampy there. A little swampy there. Apparently, they need to get a sump pump in this dragon. Once, long ago, the Northland was filled with beautiful shrines and towering mechanical castles. So very long ago. The dragons of Cardian Islands have no love of senseless killing. We only like sensible killing. If you are valiant warriors, you should speak with Bahamut, our king. An elixir? I don't want that cheaty McCheater thing either. It wasn't in the original NES. I don't want it. What's up, Tim? I'm playing a video game, Tim. Oh my god, 2 sphinxes. What is happening? I don't actually remember how tough these things are. Wait, why is Bob equipped with a staff? What the hell? Alright, well that was a mistake. Somehow he must have got... Somehow he must have accidentally got equipped with a stick. Oh, I hit optimize, right. So, this is a great example where if you hit optimize, it's going to give him a weapon. You actually don't want him to have a weapon. That's actually terrible. There we go, okay. But, like, mathematically, the number goes up, and so better, and so that's why that works. But... No, Bob is max minning. He's not min-maxing, he's max minning. Tim says it's one of the 3 video games I've ever played. Yeah, dry ether. And now, to see the king, baby. Suitably epic, long. This is the chamber of Bahamut, the Dragon King. Mind your tongue. Yeah, now that's a dragon. Let me summon you, bro. I confer honor upon those with the strength and courage are true. Return to me with a token of your courage. And that's the only thing he tells you. And from that, you are supposed to figure out that you need to go to this random castle that's randomly somewhere on the map. You're supposed to go through it. It's full of teleporter puzzles and really tough monsters. And then randomly, you find a treasure chest that has a rat's tail in it. And you're supposed to be like, oh, that must be the token of courage. Of course. Good times. Wait, did I already go to this cave? Oh. All right, he gives me a little bit of information. It is customary for dragons to venture northeast to the Citadel of Trials. Now, I call it Castle Ordeals, because that's what it was originally called in the NES. But now it is called the Citadel of Trials, which is kind of a cooler name. Actually, I don't know. Poll. Cooler name for Dragon Castle of Worth. All right. The poll is up. Now, classic airship, cheap-ass adventurers, I do need to rest at an inn, and why not fly back to the very starting town? Because that way, I pay the least amount of money for the inn. Wes says, I like Citadel, but I like Ordeals more. Can we call it the Citadel of Ordeals? Okay. Well, we started the session not knowing where we're going to go. And now we have, uh-oh, we're getting some drop frames. Our internet must be dying. Just checking my internet. I don't know what happened here. No, my internet upload is really good, so this must be a YouTube problem. Yeah, okay. No. Like I'm seeing this on my end, but it's not me because my my internet is more than fine. So it must be YouTube. All right, it looks like it should be kind of recovering. Now, I turned my quality settings down to potato just so that we, don't, whatever. I'll kind of tip it up. Anyways, which is funny because I was about to end the stream because I do need to go to bed because I have to get up in the morning because I need to go to I don't need to go anywhere. I'm going to be running the One Ring. So let me real quick kind of go over this. By the way, it seems like we're pretty close to a tie, but looks like Citadel of Trials has it. So we ended up here at level 28. We've got our airship. We've got the all the stuff from the ice cave, and so probably next time we're gonna probably go and do the Citadel of Trials, Castle Ordeals, and we'll get the rat tail, and we'll do our class change up, and we'll be awesome mega death machines, and then we'll hit up the fire cave and fire volcano, and we'll be way over level for it. So we'll just completely raffle stomp it. It'll be amazing. So let me just do one more save. Make sure we didn't do anything. Oh, I didn't save. See, glad I did. And I'm gonna kill this. There we go. And yeah, so that is gonna do it, I think, for me. Hey, look at that. Now, are we streaming tomorrow? Well, one of my players, Jackal, said, fuck yeah, let's do it live. So I'm assuming we're going to stream tomorrow. Now, to be clear, I may not have all like the pretty bells and whistles that I normally have, right, for a production quality stream, you know. So also keep in mind that this is going to be 5 people playing the One Ring who have never played the One Ring before. It'll be my 4th time playing the One Ring, running the One Ring. So I mean, it's not going to be, you know, the smoothest process. So, you know, I don't expect much, but you know, we'll probably go live because yeah, you know, why not? Fuck it. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, oh, good advice. Yeah, that did get me last time. That is absolutely right. So on the session 0, for whatever reason, because I think it was because of Zoom like hijacked my mic. And so instead of using my microphone, like this microphone, it started using like the default microphone, and that's the default microphone, right? So that's the default microphone. Okay, that's the microphone on my camera. Now, to be clear, it's an absolutely shitty microphone comparatively, but I mean, it's still a very expensive camera. But number one, it's a lot further away from me, and then number two, it's, you know, obviously it's a tiny little pod on a camera that's on the other side. So that's, you know, that's the difference between the mic on the camera versus, you know, my boom mic overhead. So if you want to know what the difference is between those microphones, that's the difference. I don't know if you could tell the difference or not between those two microphones, but let's see. It's going to be a beautiful shit show. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think it's going to be, you know, it's not going to be a shit show, you know, by any stretch of the imagination, Wes. I mean, I'm not expecting everybody to be, you know, again, I'm not doing this to get views. I'm not doing this to get tips. Okay. I'm not doing this for any of those things, right? I'm doing this for you guys. So I want you to enjoy the experience. And so that we're not under any sort of pressure or deliverance. The fact that we're sharing it with a community and a wider group of people, that's just, you know, that's just bonus, you know? Yes, exactly, Jams, right? It's not an actual play. It's just us peeking in on a game. So now, that being said, there's a little bit of a caveat to that, okay? There's a little bit of a caveat to that, which is, I can't help myself, you know, I got to change it up a little bit. In the One Ring, you get something called a fellowship resource. And fellowship represents sort of the bonds of fellowship, I guess, between you know, your party. And you can use your fellowship resource as a party. It's a communal resource that when you're not, when you have a moment of rest, you can use your fellowship basically to have like a moment with another, you know, party member, spend some of that communal fellowship, and they can restore their hope. Now, remember, hope is a resource, kind of like fate points or hero points in other games. But it's also a resource that if you lose your hope, your character can become negatively affected by the shadow that burdens their soul. So quite literally, one of the ways that you have to regain your hope while you're out in the wilds and out in the danger and out in the adventure is your bonds of fellowship with your fellow players. Okay, so that's the fellowship resource. What is fellowship? Well, it's 1 point per person in the party. So we have a 5-person party, so that's 5 points. And then, depending on what patron the group has, you can get a bonus to your fellowship. In this case, I think they have Gandalf. Well, they have Gandalf. I think Gandalf is +2. So I think they have 7 points of fellowship. And in the normal game, this restores automatically at the end of the session. So it's a use it or lose it resource. It doesn't ever go over 7. It just resets to 7 at the end of every session. Well, I don't necessarily know that I love that. So what I'm going to do is they are going to get back the +2 from Gandalf automatically for free. But they're going to have to kind of earn that 5 points. And so what I'm going to do is me as the GM, the party, and the people watching are going to get to vote to see whether they feel like the group really demonstrated, right, camaraderie and bravery, valor, wisdom in the face of the shadow, and really demonstrated bonds of togetherness and being there for each other. And so the chat is going to get to decide how much. So Derek is going to decide up to 2 points. Chat is going to decide up to 2 points. The party gets to vote for 1 point, and that'll be a simple majority. There's 5 of them, so if 3 of them think that they've earned that point, they'll get it. Now, I'm assuming that, party members, you could be very honest, and maybe everyone agrees. Like, I feel like it'll be one of those situations where everyone will say we didn't earn it, or everyone will say we did earn it, right? So if the party plays it to the 9s, they can get back all 7. But if chat or me as the GM think that maybe they weren't, giving it their all, and they were demonstrating some breaking of the fellowship a little bit, they might earn a little less fellowship. So that's a Derek's gonna Derek. Yes, I can't help myself here. So that's one change that I'm going to make. Cinnabos, did you calc off TN off of 20 or 18? I calced it off of 20. However, I forgot about that rule. And that's actually a rule that I've looked up I'm not looked up, but like I became reminded of that rule since we did session 0. And I am going to be implementing the DC, the TN base 18. So basically, normally in the game, the base TN is 20 minus your attribute. So if your strength is 5, you have to get a 15. And the reason that's pretty high when you start the game, but the game is meant for a really long-term play. I'm talking like 20, 30, 40 sessions of play. And that it starts high so that you kind of struggle bus a little bit, but then eventually you earn into it. Well, we're not playing a one-shot here, but we are playing a relatively short campaign, right? It's only 12 sessions. So I would rather the group succeed a little bit more. So I am going to base the TN off of 18, just so that people succeed a little bit more and don't have that. Like, I'm fine with the uphill climb if you get to the other side of the hill. Instead, this group is going to like go uphill the whole time and then get to the other side of it. No, it's recommended for one shots and short campaigns as well. Yeah, that's true, Wes. You have 8. So actually, Wes, so you'll be getting spotted 3 for free, because you'll get your 1 for Bree and you'll get your 2 for Gandalf. So you're guaranteed 3. You have to earn the other 5. I forgot that you have a Bree man, and the Bree man adds 1. So there you go. The max they can get is 8. They'll get 3 for free because of Gandalf and because they have someone from Bree. But the 5 they have to earn. So now listen. I wanted you guys to have a One Ring experience as much as possible. Could we have had something like the chat can tip to increase the eye awareness? Okay, for those of you who don't know, the eye awareness is basically this sort of tension builder that occurs that basically is like, does Sauron or do the forces of the shadow kind of find your party? And if they do, does misfortune befall you? Are you attacked, or some sort of terrible, unlucky incident befalls you, right? Now, normally it builds up slowly and it builds up via the game's mechanics. Could we have a tip where the chat could tip to increase the eye of more? Of course we could do that. Similarly, we could have a tip goal where people could tip to fill up your fellowship score, even during the middle of the session, right? We could do that. And if I was playing with Bob and Tim and Smith and we were, trying to make a little bit of money, I would absolutely probably be doing that, but it wouldn't be a true, pure expression of the Tor experience, All right, everybody. Psych! I said we were playing the One Ring. I didn't say we were playing the One Ring system. I said we were just playing the One Ring campaign. And, there we go. We're set to go. This book is cool though. It's beautiful. It's so thick. Yeah. And you might think, oh, there's a lot of lore in there. Nah. Oh. What, we do have MERP is on the first look queue. So Middle Earth role playing game, which is basically what this is this is like a modern day. It's almost like an OSR version of MERP, of Middle Earth role playing. And MERP is on our first look queue. I forgot about this this bonus critical hit manual that they also give you with the book, just to make it easier, because you have to have the Beast critical hit strike table, the Impact critical hit strike, the Cut critical hit strike table, the Pierce critical hit strike table, the Grapple critical hit strike table, the Fire critical hit, Lightning critical hit, Frost critical hit, Dark Magic critical hit. Yeah, that's it. Only 10 different critical hit tables. Let's see. I don't think so, Wes. I think there's a optional rule I can tweak in Foundry that just turns that setting on, and it should just automatically recalculate. So shouldn't have to worry about that. Oh yeah, I'm skipping the other dozen tables. Look, my players aren't even done yet. Again, it's not like it's not a show. Like, if people have questions or people want to change things or make updates or whatever, we don't. It's not gonna be like 10 a.m. and I'm gonna be like, greetings, welcome to Tales of the Lost Lands. Today, drama, excitement, adventure, and we go. No, it's it'll probably be like, okay, guys, how's everybody doing? All right, great. All right, before we get started, does anybody not have any idea what they're doing? Any questions or whatever? It'll be like a real game. Yeah, exactly. Simple. So again, it's going to be mostly focused, and also too, in complete transparency, a lot of people sign up to play these games because they want to learn how to play them. So I will probably, and I'm used to playing with gamers, TTRPG gamers who are interested, in mechanics and in game design. So I have a tendency to stop more and explain myself and explain what's going on and, why things are happening. And sorry, Lone Lands, my bad. So there's a lot more like under the hood, behind the scenes, like talking about it, right? As opposed to like a lot of, not just a lot of actual plays, but a lot of people's campaigns where they're like, no, I don't want to ruin your immersion. Let's not talk about game mechanics and let's not talk about this. Whereas I'm like, these game mechanics are fucking awesome. I want you to not only understand, what they're doing, but I want you to kind of understand the implication of why and what they're doing and how the choices that you're making actually matter quite a bit. and how that has an impact. So, again, there's a learning curve there for sure. But again, I'm still getting used to it as well, and it's going to be a thing for me as well. So, all right, everybody. So I'm going to go so I can let the dogs out one last time, and then probably take a shower, get ready for bed, and well, I guess I'll see you in the morning. So that is going to do it for me. I think we had one tip, so thank you to Thaddeus for your tip. I appreciate it. As a reminder, though, if before I do go, if you do want to support us for free, every month you get a free Amazon Prime sub. It does not automatically renew. Use it or lose it. If you don't give it to me, give it to somebody. Jeff Bezos doesn't need your money. But us hardworking streamers do. So, and thank you everybody for joining me here on Game Night. So I will say a good fight, good night, and I'll see you next time. Not on this channel, but tomorrow today in 9.5 hours on Knights of Last Call. Peace.